I was given your Jesus Freaks book when I was a teenager, and I remember how much of an impact it made on me. And then I went to South Africa and met members of, like, the African National Congress, and they told me their story about how at age 10 they were ready to die for the cause of freedom from apartheid. And then I think about the cause of Christ, and I want to ask you, what about the cause of Christ is worth martyrdom, and why did you feel the need to communicate that?
Well, the reason we really got into that book is I can remember as a child, maybe 12, maybe 15 probably, I guess not a child, a student, reading Fox's Book of Martyrs. And I thought, I remember that the sort of power, you almost didn't want to read the words, but you were so drawn to it because you were inspired by these people and by the faith that they had and how deep it was. But I remember it was a struggle to read it because it was in such old school sort of English, for lack of better terms. And I just remember, like, I loved it. I just loved it, and I felt like it was like a horror book because it was scary, but at the same time you were inspired, and that feeling came over me. So when we did the song Jesus Freak and we talked about there's no denying the truth of who we are, we began to think, what if we got with the Voice of the Martyrs, an organization that would probably enjoy our help because it's a contemporary band and it's an organization that people think of as the past but not current. And we had the opportunity to get with them and really delve into some stories and share them, but do it in a very modern way. So it's sort of like reintroducing these stories in a more modern fashion. And I think that, I don't know that I will ever have to, face that, to be willing to die for my faith in Christ. I hope I would stand strong. I believe I would. I have a very, thank God, like sometimes I struggle with the interpersonal relationship with Christ. Like it's not, the intimacy part of it for me is difficult sometimes. But the strength that I have is sort of a steadfast faith. Like there's no doubt where I'm coming from or who I cling to. But to get super, intimate is more my struggle area. Versus Amanda is without a doubt my wife. It's a very intimate relationship. And I just think it's the way you're brought up or how your personality works. But anyway, you didn't need all that psychoanalytical stuff. I guess the point is, I hope I would stand strong. I believe I would. But the truth is, most of us won't have to. But I think the point of inspiration for me was, if those people could die for what they believe in, surely I can live for it.
Yes, yeah. Now, your fourth studio release is coming out in February, I believe, and the first single, City on Our Knees, that's actually already been released, and it's doing quite well. Now, what else in theme and feel should we expect, and what is your audience this time around? Who do you want it to receive this?
I mean, it's kind of strange. I'm not, when it comes to record making, I'm not a very macro thinker. Like I don't look at it and say I'm going to have a golden thread through all these songs that point people to a certain thing. It's not like a concept record. I mean, these are songs that I've just been working on, over the last 2 years, just slowly getting them to a place where I thought they were ripe and ready. But it's not like it truly isn't a concept. It's not a golden thread. It's literally my life, and I write songs as I'm feeling them. So some of these songs might have been sitting around for 2.5 years since the day Portable Sounds came out. I did write this song Wonderin', which really is I haven't told anyone this, so I'll tell you. Wonderin' is looking back at DC Talk, and it's like sort of a sweet look back and wondering if we made the right decisions along the way and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, but like that song was written, I mean, I would say 2 days after Portable Sounds came out. So it's like, these songs are just the things and the emotions and the feelings, the struggles, and the times that we've been able to overcome over the last 2.5 years of my life. So what I've always found is the only constant theme that goes to a record is me. It's my struggles, my problems, my victories, my insecurities, my stumblings, the things I'm striving for, I'll put out there. But the beauty of it is, if I stick close to that and I'm true with my music and it really is about my life, I typically look up and it makes sense to people because we're all really going through the same thing. I mean, sure, some of us might be in more desperate situations than others. Some of us, the faces on our situations are different, but we're all really struggling. We're all struggling through this economy. We're all struggling with trying to be there for our friends even though they're kicking us. We're all struggling to being, selfish at times. We're all struggling with being prideful. We're all struggling. It's the same problems with our insecurities. We're all struggling to pursue holiness in the midst of this chaos coming at us via the internet and every other thing that's coming at us, telling us to look after ourselves when we should be looking after others. All those things, that's what we're all facing, and that's what my music is about, my life in the midst of all that.
Very well put. Now, is there any particular sound? Is there a fusion sound that we should expect here?
The one thing I'll say is it's very diverse, which is sort of my go-to. I call it, in the States I call it gumbo. In Jamaica we call it one pot.
Nice. Exactly.
I actually have a lyric in the record that says, none of that mumbo jumbo, give me that hip hop funk soul, give me that funky Jesus music, give me that soulful gumbo. Wait, where's the one about one pot? Oh, we got the one pot mix up flavor, we got the funky Jesus blazer. So it's like that's sort of what my music's like. So there's definitely rock and roll, there's definitely hip hop. One thing I got into a little more, and I just think it's because it's where music is today, is definitely sort of there's a little bit of a dance feel in some songs, just the 4 on the floor thing, which is just hot right now, and I'm definitely sort of influenced by what's going on around me. So without biting anybody, I definitely have delved into the some of that.
Right. And is that some of the guidance that you give to the artists on Goatee as well, to sort of feel what is around them?
Yeah, I think, the greatest thing about working with my artists at Goatee is I really am not one of those executive producers or A&R guys that tells them what to do. I want to find great talent and sit back and watch it blossom. I mean, with like a Reliant K or back in the day on Out of Eden or Grits, I don't try to tell them how to make their art. I mean, they know exactly what they're doing. I really just sit back and get to enjoy the process of them blossoming and trying to walk alongside of them and try to promote them where I can. And at times, of course, I speak into it. But I try to do it with a very sort of like a friend would, not like I'm telling them what to do, because I would never say that I know how to do melodic punk music the way Reliant K does. Would never say that I know how to do hip hop like Grits does. I mean, they do their thing, and I just sort of cheer them on and walk alongside them.
Absolutely. Oh, well, thank you so much.